Hey Truth Seekers, this is Nathaniel here doing a deck profile for our Faith and Universal deck featuring Silas. Alright, to start with our Truth Seeker Silas, it says once per turn you may return one Faith power card from your discard pile into your hand. We are running Pumpkindle, Half-Lance Ultra, and Armorino level 1 in this deck, so we have the potential of discarding our power cards. And whenever you have a power card in your discard pile, and you haven't drawn a power card for your turn, you can always use Silas to grab back that power card and play it into your power pool. Because this is a Faith Universal deck and they don't really have any way of searching out power cards, we are running a total of 9 power cards, where we normally run like 8 or 7. So I have 6 Faith power cards because I need to see my Faith, and I have 3 Universal. The Universals don't really come into play all too much, only when I'm activating like, Prayer Group. Yeah, Prayer Group and Mercify are the only time that fasting really come into play. Otherwise, I could probably cut one of those and throw in another Faith power card, but I am having trouble seeing my power cards because Faith does not have the ability to search out its own power cards. Okay. And then moving forward, I am running 2 fishing nets. Fishing net says draw 2 cards. If this was the last card in your hand, draw 4 cards instead. I normally will just discard cards because in this deck I recycle a lot. The strength of Faith is recycle, so I really honed in on that with this strategy. So I will just discard all the cards in my hand except for this, play this, and draw 4 more cards if I can't use any of the cards that I need that turn. Okay. Next up, I have 3, the Rich Fool, which says draw the bottom 3 cards of your deck. This pairs very nicely with my Flaming Grow level 2, because Flaming Grow level 2 says that when I grow it on top of my Flaming Grow level 1, I get to choose any 3 cards in my discard pile and place them directly on the bottom of my deck. This lets me draw those 3 cards, so that's very helpful. Plus, it's another draw card where this deck doesn't have a whole lot of search for the Animo that it needs either. So the Rich Fool and Fishing Nets help me draw what I need. Now, as I mentioned, Faith and Universal don't really have the ability to search for their power cards, so we are running 3 copper coins. And with a ratio of 9 power cards, that's like about a power card. That's about a fifth of the deck, almost a fifth of the deck. So, yeah. So that'd be about 1 every 10 cards. So look at the top 7. If I see 2 there, I can place it directly in my power pool. Most of the time I don't hit with copper coins. I'll hit 1 power card. When I hit 2, it feels really good though. Next up is Paul's Chains. Paul's Chains says the animal to whom this card is card may not be activated, but may be discarded anytime during your setup phase. Once per turn, as long as this card is attached to an animal in your small group, you may search for up to 2 level 1 Animo and place them directly into your small group. If there is no room in your small group, this card has no use. So we use this to, as long as I get this, I'll attach it like to my Armorino level 1, a Mercifier, or a True Blue, an Animo that I can easily get rid of, or an Animo that I really want to stay in play. And I will use this to search out the other Animo that I need, like my Half-Lances, or my Pumpkindles, or Believers. I can even use it to look for my prayer group when time comes for that. So that's very helpful. Next up, I run 3 Frankincense. Frankincense is like my go-to equipment for Faith right now. I don't want to discard my power cards. My deck has the ability of grabbing back my power card of Silas and Armorino level 1, but if I don't have to use those abilities, I'd rather not have to. And plus, this allows me to be able to use Silas to pay for the cost of my Faith Animo that have a discard cost, because as long as they have the discard cost, they can't discard Silas, so they can't fulfill the cost. So we equip this to our Half-Lance Ultra or our Pumpkindle or Armorino, and then we're able to activate them without having to pay the discard cost. I have, for my Cinnies, I have 1 Hookworm. It says as long as Cinnies active, all your opponent's ammo require 1 extra universal cost in order to be activated. We have Judgeweed. Judgeweed says as long as the Cinnies active, your opponent may not reveal Cinnies. Zapper King. Your opponent may not play any level 1 Animo from their hand to small group next turn. Wolf, which says if this card is in your hand, you may choose to show it to your opponent and shuffle it back in your deck. If you do, draw another card. Grumble, which is a 13 defense any. Flipper, which is a 7 defense any, but if your opponent has 4 more, this city's gain 10 defense by flipping it this way. It's a really fun card. Walrus Mega, which is a 16 defense any, and that is all the cities that we have. Moving on to our Universal Animo, we run 3 Prayer Group. Prayer Group can be anywhere from a 3 to an 18 value because of fasting, or I could just pay 6 power cards to make it an 18, which is a very fair value and helps make up for some of the lack in this deck. And then we have Mercifier. Mercifier level 1 has the ability says, if this card is in your small group, you may choose to swap it with a level 1 Animo in your deck with a virtue point of 7 or less. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So it's a 2 for 7, which is pretty good. I really do... I use this to search for my Animo. It doesn't search for all the Animo that I need in my deck, so it doesn't search for my level 2s. It searches for basically any of my level 1s that I have in the deck except for Prayer Group or my Ultra. So that was Mercifier. Next up I have 2 Flaming Grow level 1 and 2 Flaming Grow level 2, I already mentioned. So 3 for 4 is not good value, but a 2 for 10 is a great value, and I only have to discard 1. And it has the ability that when it grows on top of Flaming Grow level 1, I look at my discard pile, choose 3 cards of them, place them directly on the bottom of my deck. Then I can follow that up by playing the Rich Fool and drawing 3 cards from the bottom of my deck, so I just instantly get the cards back that I was recycling. The Strength of Faith is recycling, so we are going to use Recycling Animo. I run 3 Armorino level 1, which has the ability that once per turn, as long as cards in your small group, you may place 1 Faith power card from your discard pile into your power pool. It is a 1 for 5 that you do have to discard that 1 for, but that's why we run Frankincense, and that's why Silas can get me back the power cards, and Armorino itself can get back power cards. Then we have 3 True Blues, which it's actually kind of unnecessary in this deck, but I have used it. It's another target for Paul's Chains because I'll be able to use Treblu's ability to discard him, use his own ability to discard him to grab like my Mercifier back, or my Avalanche, or basically anything that I ever need to recycle that turn with. So Treblu is very valuable. That's a 2 for 6. Sometimes I do activate him. Next I have 3 Believer. So this deck really focuses a lot on the stuff from cross trainers. And I just think that that's just because they have a lot more recycling cards that directly recycle Animo and the cards that I want to recycle. Believer says, search your discard pile for 1 Faith Animo and place it in your hand. So I will use this back to go grab back my Avalanche level 2 or my Avalanche Ultra or my Flamingo level 2. So that way I can go ahead and grow them or play them again next turn. Then I have 3 Pumpkindle level 1, with an action that says, shuffle 3 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. So it is a 1 for 4, and it can get me 3 cards back. And that's any 3 cards. So I can grab back my Paul's Chains, I can grab back a Fasting Power card if I need to. I can grab back my story cards, my Prayer Group, anything I want, and just shuffle 3 of them back into my deck. It's pretty strong. I really like him. Like him a whole lot more now in this build. Then I run 3 Avalanche level 1, which is a 2 for 6, which is actually fair value. But he grows into Avalanche level 2, which is a 3 for 10. That has the action that says, you may shuffle up to 5 of any combination of Faith Powers and or Faith Animo from your discard pile back in your deck. And so I'm just basically activating a ton of Animo, following up by activating Avalanche, and then I'm just grabbing all those Animo and shuffling them back into my deck. And then finally, the 2 Ultras that I'm running in the deck are Avalanche Ultra level 1. So it costs 2 Faith, but I have to discard those, which isn't a problem if I have an Armorino level 1 and a Silas. So I'll be able to grab back 1 with Silas's ability, Armorino level 1 to play 1. And Avalanche Ultra is a 2 for 11, which is really great value. And I wanted to build a Avalanche deck because of Avalanche level 2. Originally, I was using Ezra for it. which wasn't bad. But I really wanted to focus on just the strength of Faith Animal, which was Recycle. So, to go ahead and bring this video to a close, this has been our Faith and Universal Faith deck featuring Silas. So in the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating cities.